wanted to make sure that that happened before we went too far into this here.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody's paying attention. It's my first week back, guys. Come on, I I'm so I would not wish that on my worst enemy. That was some serious, serious sickness. It
Yeah,
was like,
you were down pretty hard. I
dude,
mean,
I see people all over Facebook getting the same sickness and they're rushing to the emergency room. I couldn't get up. Like I was literally passed out on the bathroom floor for days straight, and it was just horrible. Like a fever of like 104, and just ugh.
well,
It was
I'm glad you made it back for the plague because it sounds like it almost took you.
yeah. A weaker person could have probably been killed by that one. That was some kind of super flu. There was a stomach flu all over the news around my area too. That ended up shutting down a few of the colleges, and I feel like I caught it was like that combined with the flu just kind of grew into something new, and
Something in the water.
yeah, So I'm
Good to have you
back.
back, man.
I'm on my feet. I even did a little bit of cop blocking the last few days. I felt like the cops were missing me out there. And how you guys been? Haven't seen you in a while, but we got Rick from Allentown Cop Block filling in tonight, and Matt from Carbon County Cop Block.
What up? What up?
What's going on, guys?
So what's been going on with life? Have you guys had any contact with law enforcement?
I'm gonna let Rick go first.
Yeah, you got a juicy one. So come on, Rick. What did you do? I know you have.
Interesting week. A apartment place caught on fire. Pretty bad fire. So I rushed out my house to go film it, and I had one of the new rookie cadets that graduated not too long ago. This December 1st, she was sworn in. Happened to be there at the same time, and standing with two other journalists that work for the Morning Call. We were filming the fire. We were getting some great footage, and until this rookie officer came over and started shoving me back and telling me to get back. Like, yeah, I understand there's a serious fire going on, but you're only telling me to get back. You left the other two guys standing there that I was next to.
Were you wearing a Cop Block shirt, Rick?
No, this was just the
so
last minute.
you were undercover.
Yeah. It was good to
He was undercover and got assaulted for it.
Yeah. Well, I'm okay though. So it's been all right.
Me and Rick went out yesterday and did a little cop blocking around my area.
Yeah, I came down for that too. Don't leave me out.
Well, that was a separate part. We went cop blocking. We all got together. Everybody here got together and did a First Amendment audit of a crooked police department. We have mixed feelings on how it went. Nobody showed up, but we have a feeling that all the cops were not even there. So
they were probably
it was a bad day of the week, a bad time. We just kind of did it on a whim. But then after that, we weren't satisfied. So Rick and I decided to go out, and we found a few traffic stops that we filmed. That was nice. We caught that cop right in his spot. This cop was sitting in a perfect little speed trap spot that he always sits at. And Rick and I, we went right past the spot because he wasn't there. And I was like, watch, he's going to be up here. Pulled somebody over. And sure enough, we get around the corner, and there he is with his lights on behind somebody. It's pretty nice. Keeping him honest, letting him know we're out there.
Yeah.
How about you, Matt? Where's your news? Come on, buddy.
I know you got some good news.
Oh, yes, I do. So remember just a couple weeks ago, you guys had yourself a little victory over the state trooper barracks up here in Lehighton after they wrongfully accused you guys of trespassing.
Victory. That was like a raping.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that a victory. That was just brutal. Our lawyers had our field day with them. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, guess what? Now we're 2-0. All right, we're 2-0 because those trumped up charges that were coming against me over a DUI, yeah, those got squashed today too. My lawyer went in there and did some really, really good work. Now I got to ask you a question. I'm not really a man who has a lot of extra money to be thrown around, so I ended up going with a public defender. I know some of you out there just winced. It's okay. Just listen to this story. Have you ever before had a public defender come up to you and go, dude, you don't want to take the deal, we can beat this? Like, have you ever heard that before? Like,
I've
he came
never
right.
heard that come out of a public
I've
defender.
never had a public defender read my file unless I asked him specifically to do it.
Yeah, he came right up to me and was like, "Listen, they sound like they're not quite sure what's going on here. The district attorney's trying to figure everything out because apparently he didn't sign off on the charges. So he's trying to figure out how to build a case. Right now, they realize they're not going to be able to hold down this DUI, so they want to give you a deal that gets rid of it." It's like, well, shit. If they want to throw away their biggest chip, let's play some ball. So, I told him, I was like, listen, there's a charge on there for driving with suspended license, which honestly, as an honest person, I didn't realize that I was, but I was. So I was like, if anything, I'll agree to that because I did it. I was like, but if you don't think that we have to go that route, let's not go that route. He's like, listen, he goes, you're smart for wanting to take that. He goes, I'm going to go back in there and tell them that's all we'll accept. He goes, if they want to play ball, let's play some ball. So he comes back, he's like, yep, they want a hearing. I was like, all right, let's fucking do this. By this point, we're already a half hour, 45 minutes past the time the court's supposed to start anyways, and I was just like, all right, let's do this. Let's go and watch my lawyer have some fun. And that's exactly what he did. He roasted those witnesses on the stand. Even though the judge seemed like he was one-sided and really was leaning towards the state the whole time, by the way that he would allow objections to go through and everything, where they really got trumped up was the fact that they really wanted to have these charges stick, but they had blood evidence that they basically said was inconclusive, and my lawyer just lost it on him. He was like, inconclusive. He's like, was there a test done? Did those tests have results? Did those results say that there was nothing in the blood? He's like, then it's not conclusive. He's like, it is. He's like, there's no way to call it conclusive.
So they ruled it inconclusive strictly based on the fact that it was clean.
Yeah. So
they were like, no. We're not accepting that. We're calling that inconclusive, not clean.
Yeah. So my lawyer got that all thrown out. We were able to establish a timeline that they weren't able to hit me with speeding because they got there after the fact. They even tried to charge me with not having a seatbelt on, even though all their timelines show them showing up after my car had already wrecked. So it was like, nah, can't have that shit either. So he was just tossing stuff out. Now, I did get hit with that driving without a license. I will give them that. Like I said, that happened, but the rest of it, smashed. So I call that a complete win because I walked in there with a DUI that was going to really have me in a little bit of a issue, and walked out with something that is the equivalent of a bullshit traffic stop.
Have you called your state-sponsored babysitter yet to tell them that you're off the hook?
Honestly, he didn't even care as much as I thought he was going to, and basically said, he's like, man, even if they decide to hit you with this, he goes, we'll just pick up your time. You ain't going back to jail for no shit anyways. But the second I tell him this, he's like, oh, well, you weren't lying to me. You were clean, so what the fuck do I care?
Nice.
Yeah, like I told him like right off the rip when I told him I got this, I was like, listen, bro, it's like they took blood and it's not on the affidavit of probable cause, which means that it's clean. I said, I'm telling you, I was clean at that time. I said, and I will prove that in court. I said, you believe me, I will prove that in court that I was clean and did have.
We'll be right back with more of this Cop Block Radio.
Kind of Lewis Black there.
You know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of packages.
Oh, man.
$1,000 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, Mark at freetalklive.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on Saturday night. from there, I went on doing the Free State Project and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. I know this sounds unbelievable, but at my house, we saved as much as 45% off of a new item on Amazon. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
We are back with the next segment. This is Severin Freeman from Lehigh Valley Cop Block.
This is Matt from Carbon County Cop Block.
Rick Gonzalez from Allentown Cop Block.
And you are listening to Cop Block Radio on LRN.FM, and you can also find it at copblock.org/show.
We had an insane week in the Liberty Movement, guys.
Oh,
and we're going to talk about our top story. It's on everyone's lips. The very station that we're broadcasting over, LRN, the Liberty Radio Network, was raided this week by the FBI. And that came right at the heels of Ian Freeman, the guy that kind of put the Free State Project on the map, if you ask me. He was just kicked out of the movement. They disassociated. They put out a nice article trashing him and of his opinions on the consent laws in our country. And they twisted his words around pretty nicely and really just went on the attack. And that led to them disavowing him, and about a day later, the FBI raiding the studio at 6 o'clock in the morning, waking everybody up that was there. It's just been insane. How much of this have you guys been following?
Oh, I remember. I've been following it since the second you broke it to me. I was actually doing a little bit of work at home, and I get this call from Severin. He's like, have you seen the internet today? I was like, well, I mean, I see the internet all the time. Like, what are you exactly getting at? He's like, LRN, they got raided by the FBI. Like, all I could think in my head was, what? Like, who done fucked up and what did they do? So he starts telling me this story. I was like, wow, this seems really, really fishy that they just get raided right after this. And I'm going to go on the record and say this retarded ass movement decided to throw him out. Now, anybody who's listening was like, whoa, like, he just called Free State Project retarded ass? Yes, I did. And the reason why I say that is because you have a movement here that is supposed to be anti-state. So they want to disassociate themselves from the government and have as much as possible and want to see change. But then they sit there and use statist moves to put a petition around that they can then take and present to their board of trustees and board president. That's statist movement. That's the way the government works. If you are a Free State Project, you are doing it wrong, and you guys are a joke. That's all I got to say about that. Ian will stand with you.
Yeah, they showed themselves to be as big of a joke as they are too, because they shot themselves in the foot is what they did. They cut off their movement by its head. Ian was the loudest voice for their movement, and I sat back. Since coming into this movement, listening to that radio station, his show, is what taught me 90% of what's happening in the movement as far as the Keene, New Hampshire movement, about the activists out there, about the Free State Project, about PorkFest. It's him that got me to know all these things. So to know that they targeted this voice once they hit their goal. They just announced at their last big event that they have hit their 20,000 movers. The 20,000 people have agreed to move to New Hampshire and start a free society out there. And because of that, because they hit their movement, I guess they feel that now they can start ostracizing people that they don't necessarily agree with.
It's the wrong one there.
Yeah, it just makes me sick to see how, like, the way that they did this, like you said, it's statist. Just, I mean, this is supposed to be the liberty movement. This is supposed to be the freedom movement. The like, free thought, free expression, free. As long as, like, the NAP, the non-aggression principle, as long as you're not harming someone, that you're allowed to express yourself, and that's what was supposed to be different about this than our country.
Yep.
What is different? What is different when you're ganging up on somebody because you don't like his opinions?
Yeah,
what is different? What is different when you're going around passing around propaganda around town trying to get violence against someone? How is that any different than what the state does when they run a news article about somebody before they're ever found guilty?
Yeah, they honestly just put a sour taste in my mouth, and that's a reason why, you know, not only they're losing a lot of people for their Freedom Festival that they have up there. I'm not even gonna name it because I don't respect it that much, but
well, I'll name it because I want my listeners to know exactly where they should be avoiding, and that would be PorkFest, their biggest event. That event went from 1,300 people down to 300 and change at this point that are going to be attending, and they went even farther with their statist logic by blocking comments from anybody who's critical on these pages.
Well, didn't they turn around and they're allowing the search of people going into their festival now?
Yeah, that was a controversy that broke out before even all this, that they were going to allow their security to begin like looking through bags and stuff like that. It's just pure statist. This isn't freedom. Well,
No.
Who the hell are these people? This is like state light.
Right, and this is one of those things that kind of makes me think, like, you just got 20,000 people to say that they say and or move to your area because they were in search of freedom that you promised them, and all you're doing is just giving them your own government underneath the government shadow that's already existent. Like, you have not. This is not an offer of a better life under you guys. You guys have just turned around and shown that you can't be trusted with the ideas that you came up with yourself.
Exactly. I don't. And let me just be clear. I don't think from the beginning these people were statists and like undercover in the movement trying to bring it down from within. Like some people are claiming. I don't believe that. I believe these guys started out with a really good cause, and like a lot of really good ideas, they allowed themselves to become corrupted. They allowed the power to go to their head. They allowed themselves to compromise one thing after another until now, look at them. They are become exactly what they despise the most. So I am going to be going out there. Rick is joining me. I believe, Matt, you're going to be coming.
I would like to. I'm working on it.
Next week's Cop Block Radio, we're going to show them exactly how much they don't scare us. We're traveling out to Keene, and we're going to broadcast our show right from LRN Studios. And then we're getting together with a bunch of the activists out there. We're going to Cop Block for a couple days until we come home. We're not going to disclose when we're coming home, but we will say by next week, by Wednesday's show, we will be in Keene, New Hampshire. And I'm looking forward to these Free Staters that I've personally spoken with online that have talked so much trash. I'm looking forward to seeing these people in person. I don't know about you.
That should be fun because, I'd really like to go and just kind of see where their mindsets, really lies, because a lot of people can be really, good behind the keyboard, but the second you get them face to face, they're not quite sure what their exact motivations behind doing things are. And I kind of want to talk to a couple of these people and see if they have the same motivations face to face that they do behind a keyboard, because my mindset is, and my true belief is that a lot of these people are just following what other people are saying, and this has kind of gone from a free state movement to we've got some sheeple involved, and
group of followers.
Yeah, it's a group of followers, and it's sad.
We're gonna be cutting to a commercial break, but we have plenty more stories when we come back with the next episode of Cop Block Radio.
You didn't get the approval you seek. There's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
Are you a political activist who does things that the government might not like? Then this free ebook may save your life. Rats is your guide to protecting yourself against snitches, informers, informants, agents provocateur, narcs, finks, and similar vermin. Rats was written by OG libertarian Claire Wolfe. Rats is a short book, easy to read, and available free in many formats. Download Rats free at rats-nosnitch.com. That's rats-nosnitch.com.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Man, so much has happened in the last 2 weeks. It's hard to keep track of everything that I really wanted to touch on. But one thing I really I wanted to make sure. Wow, what's going on with your audio, Rick?
This
sounds like you got a fan blowing right on it.
Yeah.
Oh
What happened
man.
last time?
That's cool. It stopped. All right. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure that I got to touch on Dio, because the last 2 weeks, Matt, you've been nice enough to help fill in with JP Freeman and one of your other co-hosts for another show you guys do. And I didn't know if you guys touched on anything with Dio, because to anybody that listens, we had it set up that he was going to call every week while he was in jail. Did you guys get a chance to update the audience on any of that?
We had briefly talked a little bit, but when you updated me about what was his current situation, this was after our last show. So unfortunately, they don't know what's going up with Dio and that part of the situation. But
well, I just want to. Dio's not doing so hot in there. They were really messing with him hard, and he's now to a place where he doesn't want to make phone calls and talk to people because they're listening to every one of his phone calls and they're twisting around words and they're just messing with him. They put him on a 24-hour lockdown over a joke that was in a letter that he had gotten from somebody. I don't know all the 100% of the details. All I know is that the call I got from him said he won't be doing the show anymore until further notice. He doesn't even want to talk to people. He wants to just get letters. The letters are helping him get through, so anybody who can hear this, we're going to put the address up after the show. I really encourage everybody, even if you never met Dio, just shoot him a letter and say, hey. It gives him something to do to write back. I know how boring jail is, and when you have a letter to write and something to respond to, it just helps the time go faster. I really feel for what's happening to him. It's unbelievable to me that the fact that they would have him in there on a non-crime wouldn't be enough for them, but they got to mess with him on top of it. They got to really try to break his spirits. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that, like, we're holding our spirits with him, but if you could just write him a letter, it would really help. Because
free Dio.
Yeah, free Dio, absolutely. The good news that I did get from him is it looks like his lawyer might be able to work something out that he might only serve the 90 days that he originally thought he was going to serve.
Which would be fantastic.
Which would be fantastic. It would get him out sometime in April, and that's way better than the 200 and something days. He's already over 30 days in, so we can just, if you pray for that, light a candle, do whatever, pray to whatever God you follow, if any. But that's something to hold into your thoughts right there, is that he is fighting at this point to be able to get that.
Well,
so
let's hope that he gets that. And Dio, I know personally, for me, like, hang in there, brother. You're in my thoughts all the time, man.
I did get a letter from him, and he is looking forward to coming back to the show. He misses everybody. He misses the show, and he really is looking forward to coming back. And I personally can't wait to have him back. Derek's going to be back soon, and we're going to have the show's going to be slightly re-geared, but slightly like it used to be. We'll be able to have our callers back. I'm really looking forward to the coming month with this show. So I also wanted to touch back onto the Free State Project thing. I just want to be clear that that is a little thing going on inside this whole moving to New Hampshire movement. I still fully support people moving to New Hampshire. I think there's going to be douches in any circle you go in. I'd rather have 5 douches that I know about in New Hampshire that are not really with the movement and have another 18,000 activists that are cool in the area.
I mean, I agree with you there.
At first, I was like, nobody should be going to New Hampshire. Everybody should just abandon the whole thing. But no, I disagree. I had to really think about that. And even Ian has come out in support of people still moving, and surprisingly enough, in support of people still being a part of the free, the stupid state project.
Yeah.
I couldn't even think of it for a minute. My brain wouldn't allow me.
You are so minuscule, Free State Project. I delete you from my brain.
My brain just totally deleted the name of that organization for a moment.
It's okay.
But yeah, if you're planning on moving to New Hampshire, there's plenty more. There's cop block groups. There's the Free Keene movement. There is tons of activism that you can get involved in. I'm personally, that's what I'm looking forward to getting to see when I go out there, is all the cool stuff that you can still do and be able to relay that to whatever audience I may have in the world.
Yeah, man. Like, it's a good place out there. Maybe I spoke a little too far in what I was saying. I still support you guys moving there. It's just I can't in any way support the Free State Project anymore.
No, I wouldn't give them a nickel of my money.
Nope.
But we got a story now, a little different change of pace. The Minnesota cop blockers are back at it again. These are the same guys we've had Amanda on a few times. We've had we talked about Andrew out there. They have one of the most active groups in the country, and now they're back on the front page of copblock.org with what is shockingly being reported as a possible good cop situation where they interviewed a police chief up there, and they were able to get some things accomplished and get some answers that they really wanted, and they came across developing a relationship.
Now, hold up, because I feel like you just said something and my brain stopped. Did you say that they found what could possibly be a good cop who not only, understood some of what they were saying, but also wanted to be helpful?
Yeah, what was all that? Was that English? I don't know.
Wow. Okay. I didn't realize that this was possible. Please tell me more.
Well, I'll read the story out of copblock.org. It was written by a Damo Freeman, and the story right now is up on the Cop Block Radio Show Facebook page, because there's a video that goes along with this that I really would encourage everybody to go and watch. On July 24th, 2015, I started a journey that I didn't know where it would take me. It was one of the hardest and scariest journeys to start, and quickly turned into one of the most rewarding. Just days after the 1-year anniversary of seeing my wife brutally assaulted by police without provocation, I sat down to meet with a police chief in a little town of Caton, Minnesota. He had popped up on my radar as I had become increasingly involved with the police accountability movement. He didn't pop out of misconduct, but rather involvement in what I call a radical level of community policing. I showed up in the early afternoon of a hot summer day, anxious to wonder if I had been led to believe a farce. Was it too good to be true? After all I had seen in the last year, could there be a really good cop? I was getting nervous for the meeting. Moments later, the chief shows up with 2 other officers with him. I walk into the police department with him, and he starts to tell people that I'm his friend from out of town. Things are buzzing, and I have no idea what the plan is, but I am quickly rushed out of the police department because the chief obviously has a plan. He tells me to get in the passenger seat of the police car and takes me around the city. He hasn't heard my story yet. Does he realize that I don't have a marvelous recent history with police? Only blocks away, we stop, and he tells me he's got something and jumps out of his car and walks over. A little girl riding a bike with a pink helmet and streamers on her bike. He bends down and gives her a smile and gives her a coupon for free ice cream. At that moment, it took everything that was in me not to break down and cry. Here's a man who's obviously compassionate in the role that I've come to see abused. We drove around for a while. He listened to my story. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know about this story, guys.
Yeah, it does kind of sound like a fluff piece.
We're going to be cutting to a commercial break here, but I want to get into this story a little bit when we come back, because I don't know, guys. I'm like you just said, fluff piece. This really isn't jiving with what I'm picturing as, this guy might have done a few good deeds, but how many victimless crimes has he arrested people for? Because if he wears that badge, it's necessary. We'll be back.
$28 lower at $1,220 per ounce. Silver is down 50 cents at $15.40 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 416 US dollars. Both silver and gold are significantly lower today. This would be a great time to take advantage of buying on the dips. Give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
Arcade City is a ride-sharing app built by drivers for drivers. It's more decentralized than Uber and Lyft. With Arcade City, you can keep all of what you earn. Sign up now to drive for Arcade City at arcade.freetalklive.com. Arcade City was created by New Hampshire liberty activist Christopher David. When he publicized the idea in January 2016, he hoped to recruit 100 drivers by the end of the month. Instead, he blew past his goal with over 1,300 drivers signing up in just 2 weeks. Arcade City is connecting drivers directly with riders and is disrupting the already disrupted transportation industry. If you want to get involved, you can join as a rider or a driver. To ride with Arcade City, visit arcaderide.freetalklive.com. To drive with Arcade City, visit arcade.freetalklive.com. That's arcade.freetalklive.com to drive, or arcaderide.freetalklive.com to ride with Arcade City. If you can't listen to the Liberty Radio Network's internet streams, free satellite channel, or radio affiliates, no worries. You can listen to LRN.FM from any phone, anywhere. Add this number to your phone, 213-493-0309. It's a long-distance call, so make sure you're familiar with your phone's calling plan. The Liberty Radio Network listen lines are locked into our stream 24 hours a day. Call 213-493-0309. That's 213-493-0309.
If you want to move to the free state and you're looking for some real estate.
Oof. I think we've all had enough of that jingle, don't you? If you're going to invest in property in New Hampshire, it just makes sense to support a liberty-friendly realtor. Call Mark Warden of Team Porcupine Real Estate for investment property or rentals in the Free State, or visit his website. Come on, you know it.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.lrn.fm. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit the Liberty Radio Network when you shop at Amazon via shop.lrn.fm.
It was a big night for music's hottest acts, especially for Lord Chillingsworth. In a shocking upset, the young artist took home the spookiest Halloween sound effect album Grammy for Creepy Night in Halloween Manor. Music blogger Ty Vaughn is here. Ty, what a shocker.
Lord Chillingsworth's track, Man Being Boiled Alive While Chains Rattle in a Dungeon, was crazy spooky. It was everywhere this year. Haunted houses, Halloween stores, nighttime hayrides. Anywhere you look, people were getting the willies from this album.
But a lot of people thought Grammy darling Dr. Spookenstein was a shoo-in to win for his album Laboratory of Madness.
And that was
a great album. Critics praise Spookenstein's stripped-down approach, rattling real bones together and dripping real blood onto a screaming lady. The class act Spookenstein offered a gracious congratulations to Chillingsworth, saying, "I'm a fan of every bloody who was nominated, especially Chillingsworth. I have a skeleton ton of respect for him as an artist. I just saw him on the red carpet and congratulated him."
This is the Onion News Network. What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
We are back with Severin Freeman.
Hey, this is Matt from Carbon County Cop Block.
You got Rick Gonzalez from Allentown Cop Block.
Yeah,
And
Rick,
you are listening to Cop Block Radio on LRN.FM or on copblock.org/show.
So before we cut out, we were talking about the fluff piece that was recently written. I don't know. To me, this cop knew this guy was a cop blocker. He knew what was going on. He knew the bad press that comes along with cops. It seems like he took him out for a little show, like buy him ice cream and give kids coupons, and I don't know. It's all BS to me.
Now, when I don't want to actually take the small town of Kenyon, frickin' Minnesota, and compare it to the grand scale of the socialist country North Korea, but you kind of got North Korea there. They showed you exactly what they wanted to show you. They had you come into the barracks, then get into the car to go on the specialized tour to go find the little girl on the bike, give her some free ice cream.
How much you want to bet the little girl was in on it? It was probably his niece.
Yeah, I mean, like, the more I think about this, the more, maybe it's a good cop, and you know what, if it is, hat off.
Yeah,
I don't have on.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I'd be eager to see how many tickets are written in that town, how many people are subjected to jail time for victimless crimes. I'd be eager to see something like that in that town, because if it truly is that town's being led without those types of things happening, then yes, hats off.
Yeah,
but if this is just every other police department out there, and this is just a nice little show of how good they can be, well, guess what? Every police department everywhere goes around with their chief of police and pats all the little elementary school kids on the head and like gives them hugs and hands them rewards for showing up every day in school. But meanwhile, they're brainwashing them into thinking that they could be trusted.
Well, every department has a little bit of a small slush fund, and it's called PR. That's public relations. It's the job not only of the public relations officer, but also the money that is put aside for public relations to put a good foot out to say to the community, hey, we're not all assholes. Just having to have a department for public relations in a job that is strictly you and the public is pretty asinine. I think your everyday movements of how you operate as an officer should be your PR campaign. You shouldn't have to have somebody out there trying to wave the good flag to be like, hey, we're awesome over here. Nobody should have to wave the awesome flag. If you're awesome, you're awesome. And to have a PR campaign out there kind of like this kind of makes me go, well, guess you're not awesome. Guess you're still a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, and they use these PR campaigns after they come out with like police brutality suit or a viral video. They'll quickly gather around the social media pages and put up pictures of, I've seen it, of puppies. Recently, I've seen it. Allentown Police Department, after a police brutality suit closed, they put out pictures of their new puppies, of all the new police dogs, and there were cute little German shepherds running around, rolling on the ground with these uniformed cops. It's a fluff piece. It's meant to tug at your heartstrings and say, oh, look how human they are. We don't care that we just had to pay because they beat up someone. So, I don't know. The fluff piece really didn't tug at my heartstrings. I really wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, and maybe we'll learn more about it with some time to come, but for right now, I'm not feeling it either. It doesn't seem like it's on the level.
It was too good. You know, it was just too much. So I think the little ice cream coupon just went a little too far.
Yeah, somebody go give that chief an account.
You know what? It was the tassels on the bike It was the
Oh.
pigtails. It was the pigtails and the tassels on the bike of the little girl. That
And
just
there was
it was just too acted.
there was some shiny glitter on the tassels, and they caught the light just right, and it was almost like the bag from American Beauty. It was just too good not to go. This is an American moment.
Yeah.
America.
America. Well, our next story is right out of America. Have you ever pulled over a cop, Matt?
No, but I've really always wanted to. And
how do you accomplish it? What would you do? Flash your lights at them when you're behind them?
You could maybe take like a flashlight and just kind of do one of these really quick, like almost strobe them, just like raver pulling you over. But that really does pose a really good question. Like, where is your what constitutes you to stop them? And Gavin Syme, now that's a name that's been said several times, not only through the Cop Block movement, but even on this show. If you remember a couple, 2 months back, when there was the big standoff out there in Oregon, we were giving you updates from a live stream he was doing with the people in the standoff. So he's out there. He is a self-proclaimed liberty speaker, but he does some pretty good work, and he has actually up on the copblock.org main page. He has a video that he just put out that's called "How to Pull Over a Cop," and Ademo Freeman covers this pretty well in the article. But basically, to sum up what's going on out there is out in Washington, they've been having a pretty big problem of people basically faking that they're police officers and pulling them over and doing some pretty nefarious things, whether it's committing an act of rape, an act of violence, just stealing things from them. It's gotten to where it's a big enough problem that they have actually said no more cars really need to be unmarked in Washington. So at this point,
this has been a big deal across the country. This isn't just Washington. I remember several years back seeing on the news that they were warning people along this certain stretch of highway that if you get stopped by a state trooper, it's okay to keep going. They were telling women drivers because there was a rapist on the loose pretending to be a cop. They were telling women drivers to keep going to the next exit and to get off in a well-lit area.
Well,
so this is something that happens across the country.
Right, but Washington took it to the next level when they decided to say unless they have a vehicle that is specifically designated for special undercover or confidential investigation purposes, no one marks. They have to be marked. So
I agree with that policy. I mean, we pay for these vehicles.
So
these vehicles are our emergency vehicles. What reason at all, aside from a direct undercover operation, do you need any cars without markings on them? Aside from creating revenue or an undercover operation.
Yeah, revenue theft. They can just sit and just innocently.
I want my emergency vehicles well lit. I want to be able to see them from far away to know, hey, look, that guy down there is a cop in case we need any help.
Absolutely. That's what they're supposed to be there for. Well, anyways, I guess even though that they have that, they're still using these undercover cars for traffic stops. So obviously that doesn't sit well with Gavin. And
so can these people take it to court at that point and say, hey, this car wasn't marked?
Well, absolutely they can, because the law states in Washington that they have to be in a marked vehicle to perform a traffic stop. So if you're performed with an undercover vehicle and you weren't the basis of an undercover operation or sting, then you have just illegally been pulled over by a vehicle that has no legal right to do so.
Well, 9 out of 10 people simply just pay the number on the front of the ticket and never think twice about it. So that's why they're doing it.
Yeah, 9
they're
out of
getting
10
away.
people. 9 out of 10 people don't get to go and do the victory dance when you beat them in court. Victory dance, but no, fight that stuff. Come on.
Never plead guilty.
No.
Never.
But basically, Gavin discovers somebody who's doing this, and basically said, sadly, many Americans hate America and hate liberty, but as in my courthouse incident, standing firm on principles works. If I'm dealing with a disrespectful tyrant, I put them in their place. It's only a matter of safety and never allow a bully to feel that they can intimidate you. We stand up to them. Now, there was Deputy Camfield actually kind of handled it pretty well after he was stopped by Gavin. I guess, I'm sorry I'm kind of condensing this, but this is a very, very lengthy story that I didn't have the entire opportunity to go completely through. So I'm kind of just footnoting some of this for you guys. But basically, at the end of the day, he found an undercover vehicle that was off to the side and basically running radar, and he approaches him and turns around and questions them on why they're doing what they're doing when the state specifically has laws against that.
He goes even further than question him. He demands ID, and he performs a traffic stop on this cop, and the cop ends up cooperating after trying to laugh it off. We'll be right back with our second half of Cop Block Radio. This is our long break, so
all right. You guys hear it? Still hear that noise?
Yeah, every time your mic kicks on, it does it.
I can't talk then if it's doing that.
I think what's going on is
I'm just gonna unplug this mic and use my headset mic.
No.
That.
All you have to do is go into your sound settings and turn down the microphone.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
Yes, you can. Bottom right hand of the screen, you've got the little sound bar thing that's right close to the time and the date. Right click that. Something comes up that says recording devices. Click that. Now it's going to bring up it's going to bring up a little page there. It's going to show your microphones. So what you want to do is take your hand and go to the microphone that is in front of you, that one, and tap on it to see which one's giving you feedback. Make that your default, and right click on that again.
All right. That little window kind of froze on me. Hold on. I'll make that the default.
Okay.
What's it called?
Just tap on it. You'll see the little green bars jumping when you tap on it. Okay, now you're going to have to go back over into the you have to go back over to the Google Hangout, and on the settings you have to change it to that microphone. Okay. Now back in that little screen that popped up, I want you to left click on it, just normal click on it twice.
Yeah, it's working.
You can hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that one in that little screen that popped up, it's good. It's good.
Mic check. Right.
Yeah, dude, it's working.
You don't hear that sound again?
No.
Awesome.
I'm still gonna lower his levels a little bit. Go and on that little screen that popped up, I want you to double click with the left, so it opens up, and you see there it says General Listen Custom Levels. Go to Levels and tell me what
where at,
the
on
number is.
Google?
Nah, man, on that little thing that popped up when you right click the sound
Just
jump.
forget it. I can set his levels here, and he sounds equal to us right now. Say testing
All right,
1,
cool.
2, 3.
Oh, it's testing 1, 2, 3.
All right, yeah, you do sound better.
Yeah, you're right on level with us, so it's perfect.
I don't even know what I did, but
you switched it from. I think what was happening was your headset and your mic were trying to go at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Your computer didn't know which one you were trying to use.
Yeah,
I think that's what was happening.
I thought I had this microphone as default this whole time, but then when you started telling me you was getting the noise, I switched it back to the headset mic. And then I started talking, and then you say you still heard it. So I did just that, and now you guys don't hear it. So I don't even know which one I changed.
Don't worry about it, man. All right, I'm gonna play some commercials. We're gonna be off for a few minutes.
All right.
You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, Bitcoin, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com.
fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. UPI reports several cities and airports in the United States have increased security measures following Tuesday's attacks in Brussels that killed at least 31 people. New York Police Department spokesman J. Peter Donald said security will be increased near New York subways and other sensitive areas in the city, but added that at this time there is no known indication that the attack has any nexus to New York City. Donald told CNN the department has deployed additional counterterrorism resources across the city, including the Counterterrorism Response Command, the Strategic Response Group, and Hercules teams. These teams have been deployed to crowded areas and transit locations around the city out of an abundance of caution to provide police presence and public reassurance as we closely follow the developing situation overseas. The Department of Homeland Security said it will not hesitate to adjust our security posture as appropriate to protect the American people following the attacks in Brussels. The agency said in a statement, DHS is closely monitoring the unfolding events in Brussels, and we remain in contact with our counterparts in the region. The Port Authority Police Department will also increase security at the LaGuardia Airport and John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York, as well as New Jersey's Newark Liberty International Airport. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority and the U.S. Capitol Police in Washington, D.C., as well as Reagan National Airport, Dulles International Airport, Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, the Los Angeles International Airport, and the Miami International Airport have also heightened their police presence. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports a federal appeals court on Tuesday ordered a lower court judge to dismiss a lawsuit challenging gun control laws approved by Colorado in the wake of a movie theater massacre in a Denver suburb, saying the plaintiffs lacked standing to bring the case. The measures, which passed the Colorado legislature and were signed into law by Governor John Hickenlooper, a Democrat, in 2013, were considered a victory by gun control activists in a state where gun ownership is treasured. The laws, which banned ammunition magazines with more than 15 rounds and required universal background checks for gun buyers, prompted a fierce backlash from critics that led to voters recalling two key Democratic members of the state legislature. After a 9-day trial, a federal judge found in favor of the governor, saying no evidence had been produced by the plaintiffs which showed that their rights to gun ownership would be infringed by the laws. The plaintiffs appealed to a 3-member panel of the 10th Circuit, which wrote in a 33-page ruling that despite the significance of the underlying issues at stake, the plaintiffs had no standing to even bring the lawsuit because they had not demonstrated that they would be personally harmed by the laws. The panel ordered the lower court judge to dismiss the action for lack of standing. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Sources at the video streaming service Netflix reported today that they had sent local man Shane Fowler a personal message earlier just checking to see if everything was okay after the 31-year-old watched an entire season of the FX program Sons of Anarchy in a single viewing session.
Well, we happened to notice that Shane had been sitting in front of his laptop and had burned through all 13 episodes of the first season of Sons of Anarchy. So we thought maybe we could send him a note and just sort of make sure he was doing all right, or if he needed someone to talk to or something.
Netflix says the message, which Fowler received minutes after he finished viewing the season 1 finale of the motorcycle gang drama, was just a way for the company to see if there was anything they could do for their longtime subscriber.
I mean, we do this stuff all the time. Just last year, Mike Ralston from Bartlesville, Oklahoma, watched all 4 seasons of The Tudors after his wife left him. We were there for him. We just like to check in on our customers from time to time.
This is the Onion News Network.
We are back. God, I love the Onion News.
Oh, dude, that's so good. It's so rich. Hey,
Is there an actual radio show that I could actually tune in and listen to that all the time? Because I would just sit here.
Absolutely. They even have they even have like studio broadcasts on YouTube.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, I'm so going to
Onion
be
News
certain.
Network, man.
I got
Go
to
check
search
that
for
out.
the Onion News Network. I always thought it was just a LRN skit, like a thing that they did for them.
No, sir, that's real.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Well, we're back with our second half. This is Severin Freeman.
Hey, this is Matt of Carbon County Cop Block.
Rick Gonzalez from Allentown Cop Block, YouTube and Facebook.
And you are listening to Cop Block Radio on LRN.FM and copblock.org/show.
So we mentioned earlier that we went out and did a little First Amendment audit of a town, and one of the tools that we used for that, I want to make sure that everybody knows, is Cell 411. You guys got yourself set up all for your local groups?
Yeah, it's all set up. We got it. Went ahead and got a hold of who we need to get a hold of to make sure that everything was verified. So that's all good. I hear that they've got. Oops, sorry. I hear they've got a little bit of an update on the way, which I'm excited for. And it's going to have a little bit of newer functionality to it, which is something that really excites me. Not that there's anything wrong with it now. It's just whenever they take something that was working great and say, hey, you know what, we're going to make it even more functionally better for everyone. That kind of excites me because,
it's really
it's
really expanding big time. I'm fortunate enough to know one of the big updates that are coming that I'll let you guys know is the ability to send messages to people within your groups. That's going to be huge, because right now the only message that you can send is the message like along with while you're responding.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting feedback here. Is everybody using your headsets or?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I got mine.
Are you guys hearing that?
I don't hear nothing.
You're not hearing it?
No, sir.
Nope.
All right. Well, I'll just push through. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. Maybe it's just something over here with my awesome Minions headsets.
We can't leave any man behind. Don't leave him to have speed back, sir.
Well, we have a story out of Chicago, of all places. All the stuff that always happens in Chicago. I mean, it's a hot spot. Well,
I really feel like Chicago is like trying to step up and just go, hey, we want to be the most fucked up city in America. Can we take that? Can we take, we want to wear a badge that says most fucked up city in America? They're getting close.
So most fucked up police department in America.
Yeah, right.
Well, the story is letting you know how much they've racked up in misconduct charges. $662 million have been paid out in the last year for police misconduct charges in Chicago.
It's not the last year. It's since 2004, but that's still a ridiculous, ridiculous number. Because if you think about that, if that's from 2004 to now, that is $55.16 million a year. If you want to break that down even more, that is $4.5 million a month. And if you break that down again, you want to go weekly, that's cool. That is $1.14 million. But if you break that down by day, that is $164,186. But wait, I've got more. If you want to go by the hour, that is $6,841 an hour that they're making. So if you take that and you do it by minute, that is $114 a minute since 2004.
So in that spiel, in the last 5 minutes, they just racked up $500,000 worth of misconduct charges since you started talking.
Since we started this broadcast, 1 hour and 10 minutes ago, they have racked up almost $8,000 worth of misconduct charges just in an hour. That's insane. Yeah.
Why would they change? Why would it matter? Because it's not the police that have to pay for it. They get to get all the income. They get to get their racketeering schemes. They get to get all of the traffic citations, all of the impound. They get to keep it all. But when it comes to giving it back, they don't have to pay any of this. It doesn't come out of their budget. It comes out of taxes. It comes out of the taxpayers.
I remember when you were where you're at, Severin. Bethlehem had a case probably about 15 years ago where the police decided that they were going to raid this drug dealer's house, and they threw in a flashbang after shooting the place up and let the place burn down, and the man died. They got sued for over $10 million, and they lost. This was paid out to the person because at the end of the day, the dude wasn't a drug dealer, and they just had the wrong damn house.
Oh, that happens all too often.
Yeah, it happened actually not too far away from where you live.
Really?
Yeah, happened over by the college. But at the end of the day, you know what happened the next year? Our right to work tax in Bethlehem, because I lived in Bethlehem at that time, the right to work tax, which if you've never heard of this, it's a load of bullshit. You literally have to pay the state to work. But it went from $10 a year to $52 a year because they had to pay out just that one massive lawsuit. Now, granted, the size of Chicago and the size of Bethlehem is massively different. But at the end of the day, that shows you what one $10 million lawsuit in a year can do to a city. $55 million a year over a 12-year span. That, on the other hand, holy shit. These guys have to be paying like top-end taxes. You're talking like 22% when it comes off of off your paycheck. You're talking, we have 6% sales tax. I don't know what Chicago's or what Illinois' sales tax is, but it's got to be a pain in the dick. You know that the taxpayers are paying for this not only with their taxes that come out of their paychecks and property taxes and school taxes and stuff, but that means that you've got a police department that's really got to find a way to help pay for the black hole that they're creating, which means that they're going to be out there writing stupid, non-violent or no what do you call it? No, or victimless crimes. They're going to be going out and they're just going to be attacking those because they know that they're revenue driven. So you're going to have a bunch of bullshit traffic stops. You're going to have twice as many meter bitches out there, trying to make sure you're past your parking. And it's just, I can understand why Chicago's pissed off all the time because their police force is a bunch of Gestapos, and they're the ones who are having to pay for it every time that these people fuck up, and nobody's kicking them out. Nobody's turning around and saying, you guys don't deserve to be here to do your jobs. They're just sitting there like, man, we'll get better. We can do this. They're paying for it. What do we care? Man, I stand with you, Chicago. Y'all got a fucked up racket going on out there, and hopefully that changes. I mean, I did the math. That's fucked up. $6,000, almost $7,000 an hour being paid out to people getting the shaft by a department that is so damn corrupt they run a black site just to take people and hide them from due process so they can get information and bullshit out of them. I mean, they basically in Chicago got caught running little Guantanamo, and these people still have jobs. I mean, no wonder why they're paying out so much. They've got screwed up things like black sites in their city, but I mean, you would think that price tag alone, upper government officials would be like, listen, we've got to step back and make a change here because they ain't doing it themselves.
I'm trying to find the story that Rick had sent me earlier, but can't seem to find the link. It looks like somebody on Facebook might have. It was actually removed from Facebook, maybe.
No, it can't be, because I still have it on mine, and it's playing right now.
Okay, I got it here. It's a video that Rick had sent me that I really wanted to make sure that we had a moment to touch on this. We're gonna jump.
Happened 12 hours ago.
we're gonna get onto that when we come right back. It's a story out of New York that appears to show postal employee being attacked while on the clock by police and arrested
for not showing his ID.
For speaking out against them. We'll be right back with that story and more. All right, we're out.
Government
Yeah,
I'm glad I got a few more seconds to talk about that because we talked about that on Monday, and unfortunately we just didn't have the time to give that enough of a platform for me to be able to say what I wanted to on Monday. So I was kind of glad I finally got to get some of that out here.
What's that? The Chicago?
Yeah. Yeah, because I put that story in for us to do on Monday, and then we just ended up not having enough time to really touch on it properly.
I think we only went an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we reduced our show time down to an hour.
I'm going to play the commercials.
Cool.
Real relationship we all have with the coercive government, the real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. FreedomsPhoenix.com. Constant news on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, FreedomsPhoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to FreedomsPhoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. FreedomsPhoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com. I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
We are back.
What up, what up?
What up?
What's going on?
Almost lost that commercial break. I was kind of just relaxing, chilling.
Yeah, I had one of those. I know you guys are cigarette smokers, and there's some of you guys out there. You ever had that moment where you take a drag of a cigarette and it tastes like something it absolutely shouldn't? Like, it might taste like your taste buds get a little messed up. Well, I was just smoking a cigarette, and I swear to God, it tastes like Long John Silver shrimp. Now, I haven't had this in years. I took one drag of that, and I was like, man, I need tartar sauce for this thing. This tastes like Long John Silver shrimp.
Disgusting.
Yo, it happens to me all the time. I think my taste buds are just messed up because I taste random things in cigarettes all the time. That either
Something's
means that
wrong with you. I think you need to go see a doctor about that.
that or
That does
some
not
of these
sound right
random
at all.
chemicals that are in tobacco just happen to be random chemicals that are overly processed fast foods. So maybe that's just what I'm tasting. I'm like, ooh, that minty flavor of cancer tastes like an Andes mint. So
No, I smoke menthol cigarettes, and I really can't stand some of the flavors that they've come out with because they taste like mint chocolate chip or something like those Marlboro Smooths. Like, if I want to, I don't want to smoke and eat at the same time. That's like two things that do not go well together.
I remember a couple years ago, Camel came out with these cigarettes, and they were drink flavors like Appletini and Screwdriver and things like that. I'm like, man, if I'm gonna drink and I'm gonna go to the bar and I'm gonna have a cigarette, I'm not gonna get an Appletini and smoke an Appletini cigarette. One.
And if I get pulled over and I'm dead sober smoking an Appletini cigarette, does it make my breath smell like I've been drinking?
Yeah, it's just I just found them to be hysterical. But I see we have another story here, but before we jump into that, Severin, I got a question for both you and Rick.
Sure.
Did you guys hear anything about the advancement of Allentown's police state?
What? Allentown. I love Allentown. They're my friends. They're my friends.
Here today, basically your city council approved a contract for $319,000 annually for the security system that's around the city. So all those security cameras and all that, they're not only going to be upgrading them, adding more, but now are paying a third-party company $319,000 a year for the next 2 years guaranteed to not only maintenance, supervise, watch, and add new camera systems throughout Allentown.
Fantastic. Gotta love the surveillance state. I don't know. I don't know if the listeners are familiar with this. If this is like a normal around the country, but the city of Allentown is like a couple towns over. It's actually where Rick lives. They have surveillance cameras at every intersection. Like instead of a red light camera, it's a round surveillance camera that they can turn and direct and watch the movements of people walking around town. Now they started out doing these in what they called high crime areas. They were trying to deter drug dealing, and that's how they got them on the streets and got away with it. But now, when I drive through that town, they are on every corner. So I don't know how they're going to be expanding that program, but I know if I lived next to one, I'd break the hell out of it because I wouldn't want my privacy invaded on. Yeah, I'm not advocating breaking anything that belongs to the state. Let's get that clear, because that would be illegal. No, but I'm saying what I would do probably would be to disable any that were near me.
If a random bird happens to fly into it from some sort of projectile, gas-infused rocket launcher homemade device, you can't judge the bird.
Well, no, it doesn't even have to be that high tech, guys. I just saw a meme online that did it perfectly. Silly string shot right at him. Oh man, it was perfect. I was like, whoa! They just disabled $1 million worth of surveillance with a $1 store can of silly string.
Yeah.
It's genius, and it's just too perfect. But
well, I mean,
if you get caught doing something like
November,
that, they will come after you.
Well, if you remember the last November, we were all out for November 5th doing a protest, and we all thought, okay, well, these are traffic cameras. And then, sure enough, I pulled you guys aside, and I was like, yo, is that fucking traffic camera pointing right at us? Like, did they change the traffic camera from looking at that to just watching us? Sure enough, we all look at it. We're like, I'll be damned. That thing is pointing directly on us. Like,
yeah, and I called up afterwards because I didn't believe that they would actually admit it. And they were like, so? It's not traffic cameras. They're meant to watch the patterns of people. They're people cameras. So they were doing their job by watching us because we were there. So they didn't even try to deny it. They were like, their actual response was, so? I was like, why is the cameras on us instead of traffic? She was like, so? We're allowed to watch what we want on the cameras.
Wow.
Well, I want to jump over to this video real quick. I'm going to share it with you guys, and we'll talk over it. I'm just going to play it on mute.
Okay.
But it's pretty wild. This is a postal employee delivering mail, and he spoke out against it looks like he just said something offhanded toward these undercover cops. and they just surround him. And then all the onlookers are like, no, leave him alone. He's on the job. He's on the job. Like, people were getting pissed off watching this. They end up taking this guy, cuffing him, searching him right there. Look at him gripping him up. He's in his uniform. This dude's on the clock. Did you see this video yet, Matt?
Oh yeah, I watched this earlier, and like this is, I'm feeling all sorts of kind of ways on this. One, you have these officers who are decided to stop and frisk this man who is a government employee. He is out there doing his government job, delivering the mail, and they stop him and search and frisk him. Like, you see that officer down there? If you can go back real quick, maybe about 10 seconds. I want you. Well, no, you can see him right here. I mean, his mail truck is right fucking there.
Yeah, he had a bag full of mail on his side.
And I mean, them just turning around, like, they may not have opened the mail, but damn, they're gripping this dude's mail up. Yeah, they're taking the keys out of the mail truck and everything. Like, what purpose do they have?
Well, look at this. Now they're gripping him up, trying to pat him down.
This is insane.
I can't wait to hear how this one unfolds.
You know,
because what we have here is going to be something where it's federal and state, because federal covers postal employees. They're all federal employees.
Isn't it a federal offense to tamper with the mail?
It's a federal offense to mess with a cop or to mess with a postal employee at all. If you so much as if you stop a postal employee from delivering mail, that could be construed as a federal offense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like they're protected under federal law. So what I'm guessing we're gonna see here is everybody shake hands and make nice, and everybody's supervisors are gonna say, "Listen, this needs to go away quietly."
Like, give him some money.
I don't even know if he's going to receive any money. I mean, you know his job's over.
Yeah,
like
I would sue him right there for defamation of character. I mean, not only did they lose, if he didn't lose his job, they ran him the risk of it. Now, I think, especially since there's a video out that the postal union can see, I think they're going to back him on this. I don't think that he's going to lose his job, but he runs the risk of it because of this. Now, even if he was a model employee, he's still on a negative radar because he just got hit. But
we'll be right back. We're on commercial.
Cool. Luckily, I stopped looking at my camera.
Hey, did you see how those cops were dressed? They were dressed like neighborhood gang members and shit.
Man,
yeah, they were all undercover.
They were dressed like they were about ready to go out there and kill Eric Gardner again. Was that too soon?
Wow.
Was that fucked up? I'm sorry.
I believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Wednesday, gold is $28 lower at $1,220 per ounce. Silver is down 50 cents at $15.40 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 416 US dollars. Both silver and gold are significantly lower today. This would be a great time to take advantage of buying on the dips. Give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
I just heard the best sales pitch I've heard in a long time on an airplane. The flight attendant announced, if you paid more than $75 for your round-trip ticket, you overpaid. This is brilliant because everybody on the flight paid more, and I was struck by how all the road warriors stopped typing and reading and working and looked up. The announcement invited us to apply for the airline's credit card, and the sign-up bonus, enough frequent flyer miles for a free round trip. Talk about turning lemons into lemonade. With some banks offering free credit cards, $75 is an outrage for an annual fee, but a bargain for airline tickets. For more tips on communicating more effectively, hit survivalspeech.com, where you can see how I got the CEO of another major airline to shower me with freebies. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
Off the air live. Anything that's fun we're not allowed to do. It's going to get to the point where we're not even going to be able to take a shit because it feels too nice. They're going to be like, oh, you enjoyed going to the bathroom way too much. We're going to have to regulate how often you do that. We're going to have a time and a place where it's away from the children because we don't want our children to know that this exists. Poop is gross, and they shouldn't find out about poop until they're 18. Would it still be indecent if we were to genetically modify the human body so that nipples had eyelids? Would it be okay for you to remove the top half of your clothes and go out in public? Because is it just the nipple? Is it just that one part? And if it was covered up by more skin that was the same color as the boob, would it be okay? And then I was thinking this, if you really wanted to genetically modify the body, what you could do is that make sure the nipple only opens up for only people that are above the age of 18, even though when they were babies, they suddenly say, off the air live every Saturday at 10, LRN.FM.
You can watch the LRN studio and chat with other listeners anytime at cam.lrn.fm. That's cam.lrn.fm.
That's too funny.
We are back with Severin.
Hey, this is Matt from Carbon County Cop Block.
Yeah, Rick Gonzalez from Allentown Cop Block.
And you are listening to Cop Block Radio on LRN.FM and also found on copblock.org/show. So, we were just discussing the story. Severin, do you think that we covered everything on that?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody had seen that. It's not really something that's all the stories about that are coming from the video. No one's been able to really talk to these guys or find out what happened or find out where it is at this point, what he was charged with. Nobody knows any of these answers. So I'm eager to find out how that develops, but like I said, I have a feeling it's just going to disappear. It'll be one of those awesome videos everybody looks at and nobody knows any details for.
Yeah. So I've got a little bit of something funny that I wanted to bring to your guys' attention because, man, just to kind of watch how police had to have handled this situation had to have probably been one of the more hysterical things out there. So this comes out of Florida. Did you guys hear what happened at 3 a.m. last night on I-95 in Florida?
No.
They had a Frito-Lay's truck that stalled. The driver gets out to try to figure out what's going on with the truck, and shit you not, a beer truck cuts this bitch in half, and now we're sitting there, and you've got beer and shit strewn across I-95. The I-95 was shut down for hours, as everybody's trying to figure out, like, so do we drink and eat it, or do we actually just, like, mop this shit up? Like, there's a party on the road right now. What do we do? Somebody get a sound system out here. We got a block party on I-95.
I was just going to say that the only thing they're missing is, like, a really good sound system.
Yeah. I mean, basically, the world just went, I-95, it's time to party, and the cops came up and shut that down, too.
Oh.
I mean, serendipitous events made a party just appear. I mean, where else are you going to find that many chips and that much beer in one spot that isn't just one hell of a party? At 3 a.m.
Hold on, I got another party that the police just shut down for no apparent reason. I told a demo about this one yesterday. What town? I think it was in New York. It was in one of the bigger cities. The guy, did you hear about this guy that climbed the 80-foot tree in the next to the Macy's building?
Yeah.
I was dying laughing watching this. They were just losing their mind trying to get this guy out of the tree, and he didn't want to come down. I'm just sitting here thinking, what laws did he break? Dude wanted to climb a tree. He's a consenting adult. Let him climb a damn tree. Leave him the hell alone.
These are some of the things that, like, as I get older and I start getting more and more bored with the everyday shit, like, I'm like, man, maybe I'll climb a tree. That sounds interesting. Maybe I'll be bored until people start showing up like, yo, why are you in that tree? Like, 'cause I want to be. This is home now. Don't come near my tree. Just to mess.
The best part about the guy in the tree is he was throwing pine cones and apples at the first responders.
Like, get away from my tree. This is my safe space, and it provides me ammo.
This is my spot. I earned this. Leave me alone.
Wait a second, guys. Dibs. 'Cause I'm gonna lick the tree. Dibs.
I just wanted to bring those couple of stories up, but there is a story that was put up on the radio show page that we do have to get to, and that's a story of a guy that we know well, the Batusta.
Yes, exactly. Pretty interesting week.
We've had him on the show. He is a really good guy out of Texas. He is like a Superman of finding dirty cops, because I guess he's a young black man, so they get double scared when they see him with a camera. So like he has so many lawsuits out there. Every time I talk to him, he has just got done filing another lawsuit, and he just gets done being arrested again for no reason other than filming. Well,
Now, the question, isn't he that cat that sat there and got pulled over and decided just to throw "fuck the police" on loop?
That would be him.
That would be the man.
That would be the man.
I love this guy. I mean,
he's my hero.
He literally sits there and goes, "Yeah, I know what I'm doing, so I'm gonna have fun with this."
Yeah, and he takes it. He does it to a new level, because he even goes above and beyond after he's arrested. After he has his lawsuit already, after he's in custody, he still pushes it and will not identify himself and forces the police to need to jump through all kinds of crazy hoops to identify him. His video actually just got an officer indicted for illegally searching his car. They could not identify him. Well, the newest news on him is a little different. He did something that's a little controversial for any activist. He helped the cops. He used his video to help the police solve a crime. How do you feel about that one, guys? I don't know. I mean,
to tell you the truth, it was for the right reasons. I'm pretty sure if I was shot or somebody that that I know was shot, I wouldn't want that piece of shit found. Like, seriously. But,
now nobody was injured. What occurred was there was a large group outside. It was like some kind of, I think it was a street party or some kind of big large event where there was tons and tons of people.
Yeah.
And the Batusta was filming because there was a lot of police around, and he observed someone with what looked like a gun walk into the crowd, and you can hear the gunshot go off. Now the police rush in and grab the wrong guy. Now this is why the Batusta thought it was the right thing to do, to come forward, because he said he would never want to be wrongly convicted. Okay. And he would never want to stand by and allow somebody to be wrongly accused. So he came forward with his video, and before they even left the scene, they had uncuffed the wrong guy and got the right guy.
Now, normally when you're out there in the bush and you're filming, you don't want to interact with the animals, okay? You want to let nature take its course. But if you have something that you can stop nature from doing the wrong thing, you gotta do what you gotta do. And that's what he did. He did what he had to do. You really don't want to sit there and ever really get somebody else in trouble. But if you have something on footage that's gonna help get somebody out of something, and honestly make sure that the wrong person isn't prosecuted, man, that's a no-brainer. Because
it's rough.
We're out there just as much as we're out there more trying to protect and serve the people that we call members of our community, our brothers, outside of arms, just our community in a whole. And if you have the information and the ability in this type of capacity to be able to stop somebody from spending their night in a cage because jackasses who wear a shiny little metal patch or shield decide that they've made the right decision and you know that they're wrong, yeah. One, you get to call them on it and kind of be like, hey, jackass is wrong guy. Let me show you why.
Well, not only did he get to call him on it, but it was all over Fox. Actually picked it up and put it all over the local news. Fox, not the Fox News station, the Fox network, put it on their 5 o'clock news, and it was huge. The Batista was given credit for something that the police should have been able to handle and know on their own, but it fully accredited a cop filmer with solving the crime, and it forced the police to kind of look at this differently, because he did make a good point that when we're out there, nothing else can happen the other way either.
Mm-hmm.
It may be that we're there intentionally to ensure that the citizens' rights are upheld, but if the citizen turns around and knocked out the cop, now there's a witness and a record of that. Not that I don't know.
Gazelle.
I would really struggle.
Gazelle gets the lion.
I would really struggle if I got home and watched the video and saw something.
I was not upset at that video. Actually, it was a good thing what he did, because you got a lot of people sitting in prison right now that are wrongfully convicted of crimes they never committed right now at this time. So
hey,
this is it.
We all know from experience, because we've all had cases tossed out very recently. Safety winners.
Yeah.
But we've all had cases thrown out pretty recently that shows that you can definitely be we'll be
right back
for a crime you never committed. Sorry.
We came right up to it.
No.
All right. We have.
It was 11:42.
So we have the lawsuit retaliation.
Yeah. Do you want to read that one?
Yeah, I could play with that one. Here, I'm gonna go on mute and read.
We're actually behind a segment, so we have to squeeze that one and the detainment one in the next segment and wrap up. This is our last segment, guys.
All right.
Okay, so
the last commercial then.
You go get the footnotes that you want to touch on the detainment. I'll do the face gravel grind.
VictimlessCrimespree.com. That's VictimlessCrimespree.com.
The three most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same great prices, and LRN gets a cut. Please do your online shopping at shop.lrn.fm.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
I'm Ian Freeman, host of Free Talk Live. We've been covering Uber for years on the radio with their ongoing legal cases across the globe defending your right to give people rides without asking government permission. I wanted to support Uber more directly, so I signed up to be a driver. It's fun to meet new people and help Uber push forward innovation. As of this recording, Uber is active in 67 countries, so there's a good chance they're available in your area. If you'd like to drive for Uber and make some money helping people get where they want to go, sign up at drive.freetalklive.com and you'll get a $100 bonus after you complete a certain number of trips. With Uber, you can drive anytime you want. You set your schedule. To get started, you need a good driving record, 4-door vehicle, insurance, registration, and to pass a background check. It costs nothing to sign up, so visit drive.freetalklive.com. That's drive.freetalklive.com. And if you just want to try Uber as a rider, visit ride.freetalklive.com. Your first ride's free.
We're back with our final segment of the night. We're going to be squeezing back-to-back stories in for you guys.
So this first story is going to come out of Sonoma County, California, where 19-year-old Gabrielle Lemos was celebrating her graduation from high school. Now, this was on June 13th of last year when Sonoma County Deputy Marcus Holton responded to an investigation of a possible domestic violence against her sister. So they're celebrating, and there's an incident going on out front. Cop shows up, starts questioning her sister's boyfriend, and then proceeds to rip her sister out of the car. Well, Gabrielle didn't like what she was seeing, so she came up and started protesting the action, saying that she wanted a female officer present at this time. Holton basically shoved her and said, "No officer will be coming. Everyone's here." So she continued to say what she was, protesting, had turned her back and was starting to walk down the driveway away from the situation when Holton decided to put her in a chokehold from behind, then lift her up while yelling, "Stop resisting," and slam her face first onto the concrete and into the gravel, which caused some pretty decent damage to her face. She was, at that point, arrested for suspicion of resisting arrest and a possible battery on a peace officer. Now, she was in court 3 separate times over this, and each time they had decided they were not going to push the charges forward and have it dropped. Now, the last time she was in court was in early November of last year. Now, they turned around and dropped all the cases, so she decided that she was going to put in a federal lawsuit for basically excessive force against Holton and the sheriff's office. The next day, this happened on the 12th. On the 13th, however, the sheriff's office decides that they are going to then prosecute her for a misdemeanor count of resisting arrest along with an assault on a police officer. So once she filed this lawsuit, they went, you know what? Retaliation time, let's get a little revenge. And then they turned around, they filed her for charges against her for a 4th time.
They do this a lot. This happens far too often, where somebody is wronged by the police, and suddenly the police twist it around and stack charges against them so that they can work something out.
Yeah, this is just completely wrong. They have already lost this case 4 times already, trying to bring it in front of a judge. The judge has said no 4 times, that they are not going to hear this case because they don't see what was done wrong. I mean, the officer's yelling, "Stop resisting," as witnesses see blood pouring down this 19-year-old's face because of how she was slammed into the ground. So she's not resisting; she's bleeding, and it's a messed up story. And honestly, it's really kind of disturbing that this kind of retaliation.
Well, you can read more about that story and look at all the photos that go along with it at the radio show page that is posted up there right now, along with this story out of Minnesota, Rochester, Minnesota. A new cop blocker, somebody that was just out there doing a school project, actually, on police accountability and on what a First Amendment audit is. became the victim of a First Amendment audit gone wrong.
Man, isn't that just irony?
You can see the video and that entire story on the radio show page right now, but a brief synopsis of what it's about is, and the officer comes out of the building. He was filming the side of a government building and looking at the architecture, and an officer comes out and begins to question them, orders him to stop when he tries to turn around and leave. Then he's detained because he doesn't want to give up his name, and the officer that detains him admits he's committed no crime at all, and strictly is being detained for suspicious activity. That's when he asked for a supervisor, and after a few minutes, another officer did come and said, "We were able to identify him, let him go." And at that point, he had been in custody for about 15 minutes, and he was never allowed to see the supervisor. See, I would have never let this situation end at this point. I would have been adamant that they file a report on what happened, because well, this is somebody new. This is why you really want to know exactly what you're doing before you go out there. You have to. I was talking about this earlier before the show started. Well, you go out there, you got to expect the worst case scenario, because that's what you're looking for. I mean, when you're doing an audit, it either goes good and is a pass, or goes bad and is a fail. Those are the only two options, and too often they go bad. So you have to have a plan. You have to be able to prepare yourself for the worst, because
I'm not quite sure there's a gray area there. You're either going to come home and say, yeah, you know what, they did their jobs, or you're probably going to come home a little bit later and go, I got to go fight them in court because they're idiots.
And it's for these reasons that I suggest that you get familiar with your phone. Get familiar with practicing the action of taking it out in an emergency and open a live streaming app like Cell 411.
And hold it on the side.
Get used to it. Stream to your friends a few test streams so that you know in an emergency where your fingers have to go, what you're doing exactly. Because when the time comes, you don't want to be fumbling with your phone. That's the last thing you want to be doing. That's what's great about there's Cell 411. That is probably the best app right now to have. The great thing about that is it requires little to no thought. You open the app, and that's your interface right there, and you just immediately can hit a button to alert all of your friends that you're in an encounter and live stream right from there.
It's an amazing tool.
Yep. Love it.
And it's free. It's in the App Store and the Android store.
Yeah.
So that's all the stories we have for the evening. It's been a great show, guys.
Yeah, it's been a fun one.
Awesome. I enjoyed it.
Next week, we will be coming to Keene, New Hampshire, or going to Keene, New Hampshire, and we're going to broadcast live from there. We're going to do a live show in person instead of over the airwaves. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to document the trip, video record, have some fun.
You heard it here first. We're going to strap a GoPro to Rick's forehead, and you will see everything from his point of view.
I'm looking forward to that. Actually, J.P. Freeman, the co-host that filled in for me while I was sick, he is actually pushing the online portion of this really hard because he's going to have a couple Bamboozer streams and Cell 411 streams. He wants to have backups for the backups and have all of our entire night of cop blocking broadcasts for the internet.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I really need to get out of my area and go stretch my legs a little bit, go have some fun.
Yeah, right.
It's going to be exciting. We'll pack up some sandwiches for the trip.
Well, I want to make sure everybody knows where they can find us. I am Severin Freeman. You can find me at Lehigh Valley Cop Block on YouTube and on Facebook. And you can also find me at copblock.org. You can see my writing there, and you can watch all of the past shows for this show on my YouTube page. There are links to every episode.
And you can find me over at Carbon County Cop Block and Oath Accountability on Facebook and Oath Accountability on YouTube.
And you can find me on Allentown Cop Block on YouTube and Facebook. And don't forget to download Cell 401 and check out the store on copblock.org. You got some pretty cool stuff there, and check out the resources that's on that page also, so you can get some ideas and some knowledge in what to do when you're cop blocking.
And if you would like to see more of myself and Rick, make sure you tune into Cop Blast Podcast on Mondays along with Scott Marshall of Oath Accountability Project, where we do a nice little show about what transpired over the weekend. So check us out on YouTube at Cop Blast Podcast.
And right before we close out, I just want to add, next week's YouTube stream will not be live. Most likely, we will update that as we get closer, but we might be broadcasting, because we'll be broadcasting within the studio there, it'll probably be a different YouTube stream than we usually use. So make sure that you find the copblock.org/show link, because we'll be updating all the links within there with our live show broadcast.
And I just want to say before we bounce out of here, we didn't do a douchebag of the week. Well, I want to say our douchebag of the week is Michael Borash of the Lehighton State Police. Douchebag! I win.
Oh, douchebag of the week was definitely Free State Project. We will be back next week, guys. Cop Block Radio.
Peace.